watching KSL Sports Live.
Get you fired up. Welcome to Game Week in KSL Sports Live, your home for football. We have the latest with the Cougars, Utes, and Aggies as they prepare for their season openers.
Yeah, and later in the show, the best of week 2 of the high school football season, including Corner Canyon's upset of the number 3 team in the country.
Now to college football. It's Game Week, and for the Utes and Southern Utah, game day is just 4 days away on Thursday night. The two in-state teams will clash at Rice-Eccles Stadium to kick off the 2024 season. The hype and expectations for Utah have never been higher, thanks to their move to the Big 12, the returning players on the roster, and the new 12-team playoff. The Utes are the favorite to win the conference and earn a top 4 spot in the playoff, and that work begins Thursday night. There'll be a chance to show what they've got.
It's a matter now of details and fine-tuning. We got 6 practices left before we line up and play. So it's all about the details from this point forward. It's time to hit somebody else and to compete. And the off-season has become so voluminous now with all the player-run practices as well. I mean, they've played a lot of football just on their own, not played, but practiced a lot of football the last, 8 months. And so they're definitely ready to line up and play somebody.
This will be the 3rd meeting all time between the Utes and Thunderbirds. Utah won the first meeting back in 2016, 24-0. Tim Patrick had 2 touchdowns, including a 57-yarder from Troy Williams. They met again in 2022, and it wasn't as close. Cam Rising had 3 touchdowns. Dalton Kincaid had 7 catches for 107 yards and 2 scores. That was the second game as the head coach of the Thunderbirds for Delane Fitzgerald, and he believes the Utes are better than they were 2 years ago.
That's a top 8, maybe a top 6 program there in Salt Lake City. My prediction is that they win the Big 12 and make the college football playoff. Just an exciting group. And men, we've sit here for the last 3 months, and off and on, I've watched them on film. It's the best front 7 that I've ever prepared for.
Thursday can't come soon enough. You know, in 6 days, that's when year 2 in the Big 12 begins for BYU football, and still no starting quarterback named in Provo, a competition that's been neck and neck since the beginning of spring practices. And according to Coach Aaron Roderick, it remains just as tight.
Haven't decided yet what we're going to do.
Okay, so no decision as of this weekend. But how much longer can BYU go? We all know who the front runners are. It's transfer senior Gary Bohannon, who came in from South Florida and also won a Big 12 title with Baylor back in 2021, and junior quarterback Jake Retzlaff, who played in 4 games for the Cougars last season. And with just days remaining before Southern Illinois, they're both still in the hunt for QB1.
It's going to sound really boring, but they're both playing really good. You guys just saw both of them make some really good plays in that last drill, and it's what practice has been like all through camp. They're both good players.
No, I feel like we have 2 quarterbacks that have emerged, so it's a different feel for me, you know. So like I truly feel comfortable with either one playing on the field and winning games for us. So it's just as we go through the process of the quarterback battle, we've been through this before.
All right, well, how much longer? The sooner the starting quarterback is named, the sooner that quarterback can go into game 1 in the mindset that they are the starting guy, the sooner they can get all the first team reps in practice. So again, how long, Coach Roderick?
It's a daily conversation. I would like to do something. I don't want to take it all the way to game time, but we do have some practice time left, and I feel like both of them are prepared. They've both had enough reps in camp that they could play in a game. With Gary, it's just knowing our offense better. You know, in spring ball, he was just learning it for the first time, and now he's starting to operate like a veteran. With Jake, it's just last year just eliminating those critical mistakes. You know, he's a playmaker. He's taken very good care of the ball in spring ball and through fall camp.
We'll see if they announce the decision on Monday. BYU celebrating 100 years of football this fall. Sounds like an opportunity to have fun with the KSL Sports Archive. Let's do it, and let's start by turning back the clock to 1981. KSL's Paul James catching up with Heisman Trophy candidate and BYU star quarterback Jim McMahon before the 1981 season gets underway.
I'm sure one question they were asking is about the arm. You didn't have surgery on it. It bothered you all last season. You didn't play in the spring game. How is the arm?
Arm feels good. It hasn't given me any problems. And no, even during 2 days here, we've been throwing the ball quite a bit.
What about the team this year? Potentially, can you be as good as last year?
I think potentially we have the team to go undefeated again this year.
All right, we're fortunate enough now to have Utah State's interim head coach Nate Dreiling joining us here in the studios because it's game week, Coach. Can you believe it? Like, what's the vibe like at home with you and your family game week compared to maybe any other week of the year?
No one still sleeps. We have our 4, 3, and 1-year-old are still up all the time. But it's a blast. Wife's getting nervous. You can tell that. But it's going to be fun. I got family coming in from all over the country, and it's going to be in full force. So it'll be a fun week for us. Not many coaches who are put in the position you're in have to deal with some of the challenges as well as keeping players focused. There's a lot of distractions going on with Utah State right now and what may be happening with the former head coach. But for you as a head coach, you've got to help keep these guys focused on a football season. Has that been a challenge at all? No, I think that's why you take this job, right? It should always be about the players first. With everything that's going on, it comes down to how well your locker room is leaning onto each other, right, and how resilient they're going to be. And that's why I feel so confident. I feel like this group and the coaching staff is so close after everything we've been through this summer. Now we're just ready to shine and come out swinging come Robert Morris game. I would imagine some of that confidence as a head coach comes from the talent that you have on the roster as well. Jalen Royals, wide receiver, fantastic season last year. One of the top players on your roster, I'd imagine, again. Yeah, he'll be one of the best players in all of college football, I would think, this year. And he's only going to shine even more with the quarterback we have throwing to him. So the sky's the limit for Jalen, and he knows that, and we couldn't be more proud of him and ready for him to go for his senior year. You mentioned the quarterback, Spencer Petras. What kind of a leader is he, and has he been throughout these past few months? Yeah, I mean, imagine this. Imagine going to a new school, don't know anybody, and then 6 months later voted captain, right? So that says everything you need to know about the kid. He is a phenomenal player. His arm strength is unmatched, I think, in all of college football, but even more so how mature he is and how great of a leader he is, that's what's going to carry this team. A lot of people here in the state, especially in the Cache Valley area, know Ike Larson. They've been watching him for years. This guy has emerged as one of the top safeties in the country, arguably. What kind of a player has he been in your eyes since you've stepped on campus? He's just so rangy on the back end. His ball skills are unbelievable. He's all over the place. A lot of players get there and break up passes. He actually gets there and intercepts them, right? And that's a huge difference. And that's why he was a first-team all-conference player last year. But I think even more so, he plays with so much pride. You know, obviously being from that area and his whole family, like, he has 50 to 100 people at every single game, and he's going to put a show on for them. This roster that you have, they chose to stick around. You know, the option was there. They could have entertained the portal, especially with how popular that is nowadays in college athletics. But no, they chose to stick around. They dedicated themselves to you this season. Yeah, I think that's one of my more prouder moments as a football coach. Like, we only lost one player to the portal with an extremely talented roster. Not because of me, but because the players love this area, right? They love the community, they love the fan base, but they love what this locker room can be and what it is, right? And we feel like we have extremely high potential on the field, right? But how close this group is on and off the field, that's what separates it. That's what makes it a special place. Well, we are very excited as well because college football is here. We can't wait to see you guys playing this weekend against Robert Morris, and wish you the best of luck. Coach, thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Our Any Hour Services play of the day is a tie and comes from the same game. The Mets' Jose Iglesias flashing leather, a rocket hit to second. He swallows it up somehow and then has the instinct to reach his foot over to the second base bag and get him out. It was a great play, but it didn't win the game. That was thanks to this.
High drive, deep right field. Merrill Madness! Walk off at Petco.
Jackson Merrill's second walk-off home run of the year. He has 6 game-tying or go-ahead home runs in the 8th inning or later this season, which leads the majors.
Well, we're seeing a special season in Major League Baseball from Yankees slugger Aaron Judge. Today, he reminded us why he could have his name back in the record books by seasons. And this is why. He hit 2 more homers, the 50th and 51st of the season in the Yankees' 10-3 win over the Rockies. Judge set the American League record 2 years ago with 62 homers in that season. Does he have 11 more in him this year?
Got time. We have to take a quick timeout. We have the second leg of the FedEx Cup playoffs. Is Tony Finau still in the mix for $25 million?
And a wild finish at the Little League World Series coming your way as well.
And oh boy, we've got fisticuffs on the far side.
Uh-oh, red cards for everybody. We'll also try to make sense of what's happening here. A brawl breaks out in an NCAA soccer game.
This is a huge upset.
And week 2 of the high school football season did not disappoint. Corner Canyon shocks the number 3 team in the country. 2 heavyweights slug it out, Lone Peak and Timpview, plus the top 5 and the Game Night Live highlight reel. Don't go anywhere.
The second of 3 tournaments to decide a FedEx Cup champion on the PGA Tour is now complete.
The quest for the $25 million prize making a stop in Colorado for the BMW Championship.
All right, Tony Finau couldn't catch up with the leaders, but he had another good tournament and has himself in the final next week. This is his tee shot on the par 3 4th hole at Castle Pines Golf Club in Castle Rock, Colorado. He almost aced it. He had 6 birdies, his only blemish, a double on 16. He chips in for birdie on the par 3 7th hole. He finished with a final round 68, 5 under, tied for 13th. Now to the contenders. Adam Scott was one of them. He made a push, got within a shot of the lead. For eagle on hole 1, 42 feet. Splash. Tied for second with 3 other golfers. They could not catch Keegan Bradley. The leader, after 52 holes, held on in 2 putts to victory on 18. This is his second career BMW Championship victory. Let's go to Amherst, Massachusetts, in the last place you would expect to see a fight break out. An NCAA soccer match on a Sunday. UMass hosting Rutgers. 2 players get tangled up and tempers would flare.
Whoa.
Punches thrown.
Take it easy.
Hair pulling. It's a real Donnybrook. Rutgers senior Gia Gurman and UMass senior Ashley Lamond were both issued red cards, and for good reason. Still fighting in Amherst. UMass won the match 1-0.
Take it easy. All right, since its opening in 2013, Corner Canyon has been the powerhouse high school football program in the state. They've won 4 state titles just in the past 6 seasons.
That has gained them national respect and attention, ranked 18th in the country by Max Preps. On Thursday night, they put that ranking to the test against a program that has only lost 5 games in the last 10 seasons combined.
That's wild. That's IMG Academy, the 3rd-ranked team in the country, visiting Draper. And right away, IMG showing why they're so great. First, the path-clearing block by Tyson Park to open the lane for Eric McFarland. That's a 48-yard touchdown, and it's already a 7-0 lead. So what kind of an answer does Corner Canyon have early? Well, Helaman Kasuga steps up in the pocket and unloads. 45-yard touchdown to Kai Meza. Ties the game up at 7. In the second quarter, IMG Academy really starts to dictate the pace a bit. 30 seconds into the quarter, they take the lead on the 31-yard touchdown from Ty Hawkins to Donovan Olugbode. Then 2.5 minutes later, they get back into the end zone on the ground to extend the lead 21-7. So who does Corner Canyon turn to keep this game from getting out of reach? How about their 5-star receiver, Kasuga, to Jerome Miles, 33 yards, cuts the lead to 7. But with 11 seconds left in the half, IMG gets 7 back. A 21-yard touchdown pass. Corner Canyon trails by 2 touchdowns at halftime. IMG Academy has a chance to really put the pressure on Corner Canyon to start the second half. 4th and goal at the 8. They're going for it, and Corner Canyon denies the try. Huge hit by Mason Ames. Turnover on downs. Pivotal momentum shift because Kasuga leads the Chargers downfield, scores on the 1-yard keeper to cut the lead to 7, 28-21 after 3 quarters. Then in the 4th quarter, Corner Canyon opens up with a defensive stop and turns that into this. Kasuga to Miles, one-handed touchdown catch. That ties the game up at 28. The defense really starting to feel confident now as well. They get another takeaway. This ball is loose and on the ground. Chargers jump on it. And 3 plays later, Kasuga's going to air it out, and guess who's at the other end? How about Miles? The go-ahead touchdown, his 3rd of the game. It's 35-28. Less than 2 minutes to go. IMG finally gets back into the end zone on the touchdown run. So they're down by 1. Instead of going for the tie, they go for 2 and the lead, but Corner Canyon cuts it short. The Chargers get the big-time upset, 35-34 over the 3rd-ranked team in the country.
One of the great things about high school sports is the unpredictable drama that plays out each weekend. And in just 1 week of the football season, Timpview's already well acquainted with that drama. A last-second touchdown gave them a win last weekend against Skyridge to open the season. What could they do in week 2? Well, on Friday night, they're back on center stage, this time a nail-biter against Lone Peak. First quarter, Knight's quarterback, Kepa Nime Tolu overshoots his receiver and is almost picked off by Keenan Pula. Instead, it bounces into the hands of his teammate, Matthias Leisa. But Lone Peak would return the favor when Carson Rasmussen's pass is tipped into the hands of Jaden Mayberry on the 1-yard line. We go to the second quarter. The first touchdown of the game would come when Timphu's Isa Nalei runs it in and gives Timphu a 7-3 lead. The Knights, they respond with a trick up their sleeve, a fake field goal attempt, but have Knights kicker Brecken Carr outrun the defender for the touchdown, and the Knights take a 10-7 lead. Third quarter, Nalei would find the end zone again to take a 17-16 Thunderbird lead. Then with the Knights facing a fourth down, Nime Tolu finds Jashawn Mayberry wide open for the 45-yard score. The Knights would then convert on the 2-point conversion to take the 7-point lead, 24-17. Fourth quarter, Lone Peak's defense would come up big. Rasmussen misfires, and Mayberry gets his second interception of the day. He'd return it to the 2-yard line. That would set up an easy 2-yard score by Sean Tall, and the Knights go up 14, 31-17. But just like last week, the Thunderbirds would not go away after scoring to cut the lead to 7. They would get to the 2-yard line. But on fourth down, Rasmussen trying to find a receiver, and he can't. He's out back of the end zone. And the Knights hold on to win 31-24.
A pair of Week 1 winners, Ridgeline and Riverton, went to the wire as well. In the first quarter, Ridgeline's J.T. White using patience and then burst through the hole. 30-yard run. Riverhawks up 7-0. Second quarter, Andrew Nielsen finds Dane Slack, 52-yard. That ties the game up. In the third quarter, Nielsen to Slack once more. Goes up for the tough catch. Game tied at 14. To the fourth quarter. Check this out. The pocket collapses here. So Nate Dreiling is going to take it himself. 41 yards to the house, and it's a 21-14 lead. 1 minute left. Nielsen to Slack for the hat trick. That ties it up for Riverton. We go to overtime. Ridgeline with the ball first. Dolly to Hunter Knighton. 10 yards, touchdown. Ridgeline's up 1 score. Riverton a chance to tie the game and keep it going. Fourth down, Bennett Nielsen. He gets cut short at the 1, just short of a first down. That's all they needed. He falls inches short. Ridgeline holds on for the win.
We go to Orem. The Tigers hosting American Fork. First quarter, American Fork looking to score. David Gaisford finds Damian Wilkinson for the 12-yard touchdown, 7-0 Cavemen. The Tigers immediately respond. Taden Ka'awa hits Faleti Iongi, and he's going to break through, showing off his speed for the 60-yard score. It's 7-6 still, Cavemen. Then right before halftime, American Fork's going to field the punt, and it's Will Miney returning the punt, and he's going to take this 90 yards to the house. And the Cavemen went into halftime feeling good, up 20-6. Orem would open the second half with Ka'awa finding Kawi Akana, 53 yards for the touchdown. Ka'awa finds Akana again a few drives later, this time for the 9-yard score. Orem's cooking, down by just 1. Then Iongi would say enough is enough, scoring 2 touchdowns on consecutive drives in the fourth, this one from 19 yards out. Orem is going to be a factor in 5A. They beat the Cavemen 32-26.
Hosting Highland on Friday night. Late second quarter where we pick it up. Game tied at 10. West Jordan's Halen Warner going to the air. Nia Loapo comes down with it for the 17-10 lead. Highland was down 10 with just over 2 minutes to go when this happens. Charlie McConkey picks it off. He returns it 60 yards for the score, cuts the lead to 3. We've got a ball game. The Rams line up for the onside kick, and wouldn't you know it, they recover it. They are in business. Manasa Pella fires one deep downfield to Jackson Falau. Inside the 3-yard line with 22 seconds left, Pella, he punches in the game winner. Highland coming from behind for the 24-20 win.
West taking on an out-of-state opponent, Clovis East out of California. First quarter, 3rd and long. Isaiah Hawley is going to take the direct snap. Finds Paydirt, a 24-yard touchdown run. Then after a Hawley interception, West quarterback Camden Lapati avoiding pressure out of the pocket, heaves one to the end zone. Jared Chase is going to be the man. After he does all that to escape the pocket. Touchdown West. We'll go to the third quarter after that. Same score. Clovis on the move. A 35-yard touchdown pass for the lead. West would answer. Louis Hamilton. A 15-yard touchdown run ties the game at 21. And that's how it stayed until the final 20 seconds of the game. Clovis lines up for a go-ahead field goal from 34 yards. Oh, heartbreak for the Panthers on their home field. That's the game winner. West Falls 24-21.
Morgan is a perennial contender in Class 3A, and they're not afraid of a challenge, opening up the season with a dominant 41-13 win against 4A's Crimson Cliffs. Well, on Thursday night, they did it again, this time a dominant performance against Skyview. In the first quarter, Beck Sheffield, he's going to go to the air for Lincoln Gilson. On his way for the touchdown, he's tackled, though, by his own teammate. Trojans would score soon after, though, no problem. Still in the first, Sheffield to Owen Gilson. Morgan's up 14-0. In the second quarter, Sheffield and Lincoln are going to hook up again. This time they do get into the end zone, and Morgan's defense pitches the shutout, 34-0.
There's a bit of a trend this weekend with the shutouts. Lehigh picking one up against Desert Hills and St. George. Lehigh running back Devon Eka picked up where he left off in week 1. 3 scores last week. Gets the Pioneers' first touchdown this week. 7 yards, 7-0 Pioneers. Then Jet New and Mays Madsen get their connection going. 50-yard touchdown. Their second connection of the night for the 21-0 lead. Go to the third quarter, and how about a third touchdown for that pairing? This time from 19 yards. Lehigh moves to 2-0 with the 35-0 win.
Mountain Ridge was on home turf against Dixie, and they were not gracious hosts. After a safety, Wyatt Bingham keeps it for the 15-yard score. It's a 9-0 lead. Still in that first quarter, Bingham, he's going to put some air under it. 51 yards to tie Homestead. That pushes the lead to 16. Not done yet in that quarter. Bingham over the middle to Lincoln Twilly. Mountain Ridge builds a 23-0 lead after 1. Second quarter, Bingham rolls right, floats one to Keaton Richardson. 29-yard touchdown. Bingham had 5 total touchdowns. Mountain Ridge shuts out Dixie 58-0.
Westlake at home against Alta. You go to the second quarter, Westlake's Finn Maurer tips the pass to himself. The interception on the way down. But Alta had too much firepower in this game for Westlake. Tucker Brown finds Evan Morton for 2 scores. Alta blanks the Thunder 24-0. All right, week 2 is not too early for some rivalry games, right? We've got more week 2 highlights on the way.
Yeah, we've also revealed our top 5 plays of the week as voted upon by our panel of experts and the best 90 seconds of television. The Game Night Live highlight reel is on the way. Week 2.
Yeah.
It's never too early for some great high school rivalries. We had a classic matchup up in Weber County.
Yes, we did. A one-sided rivalry, though. It was Fremont, who's only beaten Roy once in the last 13 years, taking on the Royals. Fremont's still not able to find that winning recipe against the Royals. Second quarter, Roy up 14-0. Drew Gardner to Rhett Slater. Watch Slater avoid the tackles. This Roy team's really good. The goal line run down there, set him up for a score. End of the half, Robert Young. What a great start to the season for him. He finds a hole. He's going to take this to the house for 53 yards. Roy up 29-0 at halftime. Start of the second half. Young on the kickoffs now. Picks it up at the 3-yard line. Look at the work he does. This feels like cheating. Incredible. Young also caught a touchdown pass in the fourth quarter. Takes this all the way to the end zone. He had a lot of touchdowns. Roy wins big.
The Weber Warriors had a week 2 home game against the Pleasant Grove Vikings. First quarter here, Pleasant Grove's Drake Stanley finds Ryder Huntsman for the score. 6-0 Vikings lead. Weber goes ahead and matches that with a 73-yard run from Dyson Parker. They would make their extra point, so they take the 7-6 lead. Then right before halftime, Stanley's going to connect with Wade Christensen. Look at that incredible catch. The Vikings go into halftime leading 12-7 thanks to that. Second half would be all Weber as Carter Payne finds Tyson Higgs for the 20-yard touchdown. Then Parker would add to his list of long runs. He's going to break free here for 58 yards and another score. He ran for 227 yards in this game. Weber runs away with the game, 31-12.
The Bountiful Redhawks were in last year's 5A state championship game and came this close to beating Timpview. And this year, they return quarterback Emerson Geilman and star running back Siaki Fekatoa. Friday night, they hosted rival Farmington in our Game of the Night Live Game of the Week, where Farmington was in the 6A semifinals in 2022. But since then, they're just 2-9, trying to get back on track. Bountiful on their first offensive play of the game. stunned Farmington with a 39-yard touchdown pass. Emerson Gowan to Brock McSwain. Second quarter, Farmington down 7. They strike back. Will Peterson to Afu Fiafia. A 27-yard score. We're tied at 10 at half. Stays that way into the fourth quarter when Siaki Fekatoa scores for Bountiful. They take the 17-10 lead, and then the defense steps up and does the rest. Farmington threatening. That's when Colton Krogh breaks it up and Winston Robinson picks it off. The Redhawks get the win, 17-12.
The Bonneville Lakers visiting the Springville Red Devils. Bonneville came out quick, taking a 14-0 lead, but Springville, they're not going to roll over. Easton Levitt finds Drake Peterson, 35-yard touchdown. Then with a few seconds left before half, Levitt to Siyosi Toki, 14-yard touchdown to take a 35-28 halftime lead. The Red Devils kept the offense rolling in the second half. Pickering is going to connect with Peterson. This is the third time now, but this one is going to go for a lot more yardage. 75 yards. Red Devils go on to get the win, 48-35.
Another rivalry game, Maple Mountain and Spanish Fork. Maple Mountain quarterback Mason Jensen avoids the rush and connects with his receiver E.J. Rich. He turns on the Jets and turns this into a 73-yard touchdown. The Golden Eagles build a 21-6 lead. Spanish Fork trying to rally. They pull out the old hook and lateral, and it works. McKay Smith to Nixon Warren to Caden Best for the touchdown. The Dons, they keep fighting. Down late in the fourth. Here's McKay Smith avoiding the sack. He's going to find Bronson Kalauli for a ridiculous fingertip grab in traffic for the touchdown. The rally comes up short, though. Maple Mountain holds on for the 35-27 win.
Provo and Olympus both started the season with a loss last week. This week they're going head-to-head. Luke Experson screen pass to Jack Evans. Olympus getting on the board first on that 34-yard touchdown. End of the half, Nate Sheets blocking the punt and recovering in the end zone. That gave the Titans a 23-13 halftime lead. Olympus goes on to get the 22-point win in Provo.
Viewmont blinked Skyline last week, 46-0. They visited the Granger Lancers in week 2. Viewmont's first possession, Titan Longson down the sideline. Drez Jensen with the touchdown, an early 6-0 lead. Granger's Sunia Fafita going to get through the hole and shake off a defender and goes up the sideline, and he's gone 80 yards for the touchdown. The Lancers get within 1. We go to the third quarter. Longson for Viewmont, a 5-yard pass to Cash Tuia, and Viewmont takes a 14-0 lead. We go to the end of the third. Granger gets back within 1 score. Aiden Royce Welchman to Lauli Fagil. Gets Granger within 8, but Viewmont holds on and wins 33-18.
The Manti Templars were so close last year to claiming a state title. They had a touchdown lead with 5 minutes to go before Richfield snatched the win away in the final minute. Through 2 weeks to this season, Manti has learned to become the team pulling off late game wins. On Friday night, they were on the road at Snow Canyon, and Snow Canyon's building a big lead. Joseph Smith had 3 touchdown passes for the 21-0 lead. But Manti would respond with 5 straight touchdowns. Lincoln Alder with the pass rush pickup, pick 6, cuts the lead to 7. And do you remember Mason Starkweather? 60 total touchdowns last year, tied for 9th most in state history. He had the 22-yard touchdown to Carter Mason and then a 37-yarder to Stone Mortensen. Starkweather with 4 total touchdowns in Manti's 10-point win.
The Bingham Miners also down south Friday, taking on Crimson Cliffs. The Mustangs strike first. Ryder Sherritt with a 60-yard bomb to Malachi Alofapo. But then Bingham would score 17 straight. Aiden Dunn with a bomb to John Kulimushi. And Bingham gets a 17-7 win on the road.
You know, we are spoiled here in Utah. We have some of the best high school football players in the entire country and some of the best sports anchors.
Absolutely. Not tonight. It was on full display once again this weekend, so we're bringing you the top 5 plays of the week. It's the Game Night 5. Let's begin at number 5. This one coming from the Northridge Knights. Makai So puts the hurt on a Layton player, pushes the hit stick, and oh my goodness, where is the Tylenol?
His head's not in that helmet still. We confirm that. Final seconds of the first half between Pleasant Grove and Weaver. Oh, Wade Christensen pulling down the touchdown in traffic. My goodness, great concentration.
Number 3 goes to the defensive side. It's Finn Maurer with the concentration to catch the INT as he's falling and twisting to the ground. While you do all that work in the offseason.
I love this play. Roy Royals, Robert Young on the kick return.
Say that 3 times
Yeah,
fast.
yeah, no kidding. We talk about cheat codes here. I mean, the guy had 3 touchdowns, but this was the highlight of the night. This spectacular kick return, somehow avoiding a plethora of tacklers.
It looked like Bo Jackson on Tecmo Bowl. Jerome Miles, enough said. One-handed over IMG Academy, right in front of his potentially future University of Utah football teammates.
I see that.
Dorian Singer, Isaac Wilson right there in the house. How about that?
Pretty awesome.
Could be. The win over IMG. What a weekend here on Game Night Live. Another weekend of unforgettable moments on the high school football field.
Yeah, and if you missed any of it, don't worry. We're going to get you all covered up right now with this week's edition of the Game Night Live highlight reel.
Who do I think I am? 1, 2, 3, Chargers!
Ridge run the city for real, dog. Ridge run the city.
On to the next. We're entering week 3 of the high school football season. KSL Sports will take you to Lehigh and Bingham for this week's Game Night Live Game of the Week. We'll see you on Friday.